I recruited some help, so I don't have to do this all day long. Now that's a beat. We are on our way to go get a gender check ultrasound. So we're gonna find out what baby number 7 is. We're excited! Yesterday, Barrett took our 5 cows to get preg checked, and 3 of them have calves and 2 of them do not. So I've got to take the 2 back to the vet to get AI'd today, and of course Barrett has to work this morning. So we're gonna see how great my herding skills are. I'd like to think they're good, but time will tell. Also, it rained all night long, so it's going to be an enormous sloppy mess out here. Well, getting them to the trailer was not too bad. I got those 2 separated pretty easily, got them headed over to the trailer. But because it got a little wet, right inside the door was slippery. So Sugar tried to jump in there and her feet were sliding, so she didn't want to get in. So I got Honey in there, but not Sugar. She is currently grazing on the lawn over here. But the good news is, she is our 1 cow that is halter trained. So I'm just going to try and get a rope around her and lead her into the trailer, so it shouldn't be too bad. She's gonna play hard to get. Get out of my hay! I got her! Alright, I had a little tug of war getting Sugar to go in there, but I got them both in there, and then I got stuck. Thankfully, Barrett's just working from home, so I had to call him and be like, come help me out! I'm stuck in the trailer!
I'm going back to work.
Okay. Alright, off to the vets we go. If you have ever wondered if this lifestyle is for you, I'll give you a few hints. Especially if you are a woman, you have to be willing to do a lot of things. Let's put it that way. First of all, there is no gender in the word farmer or rancher or homesteader, although most people assume that those are men. There are way more women involved than most people realize. The only reason that the men can do what they do is because they have women who support them. So, if you've ever wondered if homesteading is for you, or raising animals, if you are a person who likes to make plans about how your day is going to go and wants to follow those plans, homesteading's not for you. If you are the type of person who doesn't like to get dirty, homesteading's not for you. If you aren't willing to learn how to drive a trailer and take your cows to the vet at the drop of a hat, homesteading's probably not for you. That's one of the things we love about it too, is the unexpected nature of it. It does make it hard to make plans sometimes because things like this happen, but it also keeps life exciting. You never know when you might just have to take your cows to the vet. You've got to be willing to deal with escaped animals and do all of the other responsibilities that you normally do. Most days, I'm happy that we've done it. I have to admit, there are some days that I just want to sell all the cows and I just want to be done. But then I think about my freezer full of meat and the things that my kids are learning about work and taking care of animals, and then I realize that it probably is worth it. The rewards are pretty great, have to admit. Here's the real test. See how well I can back up the trailer. I made it back from the vet. They got cedars put in that helps put them into heat, so we have to bring these two back in a week, and then they will actually artificially inseminate them. Well, I did it. Got 2 cows to the vet and back all by myself, except for the one little getting stuck in the trailer. But besides that, all by myself. It's a beautiful fall day here in Idaho. The weather is just glorious, so I have work to do inside, but I couldn't stay inside this morning. So we have work to do outside too. We're still having to do stuff to get ready for winter. I am going to be gathering up drip tape hoses in the garden so that they don't go bad in the winter and the goats don't chew on them. Last year we used an old pipe and rolled up all of the old hoses, and it was nice to unroll them this spring, but it was a lot of work rolling those up. So I'm gonna try just putting them in a box. I might regret that in the spring, but right now it's gonna save me a lot of time of rolling hoses. Box is getting a little full. Now that I've got all the hoses out of this section of the garden, I'm gonna go get Willie and bring him over to eat some of this corn too. Gary's taking forever. I had intentions of coming out here to show you how well our fall crops have done that we planted, but I forgot that Barrett was letting all of the chickens into the garden. So I came out here last night to get some kale for dinner. There's no leaves left on my kale. The plant's still still look amazing, but there's no leaves because the chickens have eaten them all. They have also discovered the cabbages that I left out here. As you can see, they've helped themselves to that one. I don't know how much more we're going to get out of the garden. However, I do still have an entire row of beets right here.
Is it alright if
I recruited some help, so I don't have to do this all day long.
Is it alright if I stay today?
Carrots!
It was a great bountiful harvest of those.
Yeah, they didn't grow super well this year.
We planted them too late.
We got a couple, but
we still got carrots.
A few. We grew a bunch of these giant sunflowers. We've done it for several years. So we are going to cut the flower heads off today and take them inside to dry out so that we get all of the sunflower seeds. Right now the goats are enjoying eating all the leaves off of them, but they can still do that, and we'll take our seeds. I wanted to show a close-up of one of these big sunflowers. You can see this thing is bigger than my head.
It has all these flowers, and then you can just like rub your hand on it and they will fall off.
Yeah, so each giant sunflower has all these individual flowers on it. I don't know if we can see it in the camera. Every one of these is an individual flower, and they each have to be pollinated, and then each one of them has a sunflower seed underneath. So this one flower is full of hundreds of little tiny seeds.
I waste my time and I lead myself to a mistake when I roll on by. I won't ask why, I'll just accept and walk away.
That's a beet.
We got this garden all cleaned out so that we can put the cows back in here. We've got some panels put up on the side where we're going to block them from getting to where our strawberries are planted. Everything else they can just devour. Next item of business is to address this mess in here. I would really like to do some deep litter with wood chips in here. We have the wood chips right here. This is our pile of wood chips that we could put in there, and I would love to do that. We just don't have a way to move them very well. I think our best solution, I'm gonna do as many wood chips in here as I can all winter long. The problem we have is that the wood chips are not covered, so they get wet, which means they don't soak up a lot, one. Two, they freeze, and so then I can't move them because they just turn into one giant icicle. But over the winter, I'm going to move as much wood chips in there as we can, try to get this composting, get it thick, keep some of the parasite pressure down, mostly for the spring, because once the winter rolls around and this stuff freezes solid, very little parasite pressure. But it is kind of a big mess right now. It's gross, it's not how we want it. It doesn't stink yet, but it will if we leave it. Our next solution that we have, not as ideal as the wood chips, is to put straw in here. We have access to some free straw from some neighbors who just want to get rid of it. It's been piled there for years. And so I'm just going to plop a few, probably 2 or 3, just 1 ton 4x4 bales. They're not 1 ton, but they're 4x4 bales of straw in here, and let the cows just spread it around. They'll eat through some of it, but mostly they'll just knock it around and spread it. So that's kind of our long-term plan. Not going to get those in here today, but I do want to get a whole bunch of wood chips in here in some really, really muddy, gross spots. "20 wheelbarrow fulls in." We're about 1% through this paddock, whatever you want to call this corral area. We got a long ways to go. So it looks pretty good up here in this one spot we've done, but the rest of this looks pretty bad still. So I don't know that we're going to be able to get all the wood chips, get this all filled up with wood chips before the wood chips freeze, because that's a lot of work. Luckily, this spot that I did was the wettest because of where I let the water run out. I've done that a couple times on accident, let the water run out there, and so it was pretty wet and muddy. So that was the worst. The rest of it's not going to be as bad to do. Hopefully I can get a lot of it covered up, but we will bring that straw in here when we get the chance.